Buenos dias. Wake up, wake up. Hello, thank you for coming in. I was just looking for Transcendent Tuesday. Happy Transcendent Tuesday. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Buenos dias. um, so we're on Samuel 5. The ark is Ashdod and Ekron. I think those are names. Not sure. We'll figure it out. But today's Transcendence Tuesday. Buenos dias. So we're gonna start off. I'm gonna start off with the affirmation. I mean, it's only right. So there it is. Wrote it out so I can read it out to you guys. If there's anyone from Facebook on here, because I did put my link on there, say hello if you'd like to. I'd appreciate that. Just to see, I can always look at the analytics, but I don't have time for that right now. Bueno. This is the perfect day to shift your perspective and lean into the growth you've been working toward. I am not the same person I was yesterday. I welcome the shifts happening within me, release the habits that no longer serve my future, and step boldly into the next level of my potential. Today I choose growth over comfort. Growth is not comforting. And if you choose to move, to flex, to be in motion, and that's what you do, you accept the uncomfortability because it's always going to be that way, right? The moment you become comfortable, complacent about your situation, that's a wrap because things are going to move. Things are moving all the time, and if you don't move with it, then you will be stagnant. You won't be left behind, but you'll need to learn a little more in order to participate in that movement, right? Because that's what life is about. Movement all the time. Okay. So Tuesday is often when the Monday adrenaline wears off. It's the day to prove your commitment to change. Transformation isn't just about adding new things, it's about letting go of old versions of yourself. In any sense, whatever old version you were. Not an easy thing, right? Especially if you've been conditioned to believe you're a certain type of way. When people say things like, I know you, right? I know how you think. I know. No, you don't. You don't even know how I think and what I do when I'm around you. As we adjust to the matter. We don't try to conform to it. Read the Bible. Morning affirmation, poem, quote, and basically what I'm doing, just to let you know, is we're reading the entire Bible. We're on Samuel. We're on the Old Testament. We already read the New Testament. That's what we're doing. And we're doing it with the discernment of Father and Mother. We're not sitting here reading literal. We're reading spiritual. However, the Old Testament is about history, where they've been, what they was doing, how they were acting. No, I'm not, bro. I believe Jesus Christ was real. He was here. I believe that. That I believe. There's no evidence. People say things, but this is complicated. You got to understand a lot of things. Jesus Christ is a way. It's not a person, right? Although they want to make you think it is, but it's a way because he tells you alone, be like me. But you don't need to. You can be like him in his teachings. But you don't need him to mediate you to get to God. Because God created all of us. There's no one better than the other. You don't need permission from somebody to talk to God, which is you. You talk to yourself all the time, right? Yeah, there you go. Okay. By choosing growth over comfort, you give yourself permission to do the hard things that lead to big results. Micro shifts. I always use that. Micro shifts. You got to be aware of your micro shifts, right? If you're intentionally doing them. If you're not, then you're not aware of it. But if it benefits you health-wise, mentally, love your soul, not your role. Wake up, wake up. That's the name of the channel. It's called, if you read it, it's LYSNYR. Let me get my hat. Give me a second. Bro. Anyway, I can't find it, but you'll see it in the title. Love your soul, not your role. It takes a lot to do that, especially when you're distracted and others own your soul. The way you're guided, where you're going, what you listen to, what you hear, what you see, affects everything in your mind, and your mind affects everything in your body, and your body affects everything in your life. So you got to get those things in mind if you're so inclined to do so. If you love your soul, not your role. It takes a lot of sacrifice to do that, and there's more to come. So buenos dias, happy Transcendent Tuesday. In my last Tuesday video, which was last week, I showed the differences in the chat between transcendence and transformation. Total difference. So look it up, compare them, and you'll see the difference. Why I use that term for today. Okay, so today is a reframing. So reconditioning is what we're talking about, the mental. So it's not easy to recondition your mind when you don't have a guide, when you don't have anyone to say, okay, so if you think about this alone, say you work, right? Or you have to do something. Reconditioning would be to change that phrase into something positive that will allow you to grow. So accept the challenge and use different words. So for this example, let's say, instead of saying I have to do this, let's say, let me see how I do this. Let me see what I learned through this, right? It's a minimal. You got to learn from it. I like to use, well, let me see what I can learn. That's something how I turned that around. I have to do this today. I work in technology, and guys, that stuff is changing. I have 3 certificates on the Internet of Things. I don't know if you know what that is, but find out, because the Internet of Things is extremely, extremely dangerous for people who know how to manipulate. Basically, your cell phone, your television, your refrigerator, your monitor, your PlayStation, all has IP addresses and all that stuff. Stuff is floating around in the Internet of Things. Look it up. Transhumanism is already happening. I already saw somebody with a chip in their head. It's been happening, but now it's, everything is coming. Everything done in the dark comes to light. Everything, anything. Whether you care about it or not, it's up to you. So change that thought. How can I do this better? How can I handle this situation? Using your noggin instead of your emotions, because that's how you're controlled by most folks, is by emotions. When you vote, when you buy stuff, they know it. They run to your emotions. The commercials usually don't even have anything to do with the product that they're selling. They just want a reaction from your emotions. That's it, and that's what you're gonna do, because you are indoctrinated to do so. That's it. Unless you try to educate yourself, somebody else educates you, like your parents, great, your family, great, but somebody else outside of that, they're not trying to make you smarter. They're trying to make you into an indoctrinated slave to do things for them. Period. I don't care who it is. It could be in Africa, could be in America, could be in Europe. If you learn a trade, they're going to teach you how to. I always, my son went to trade school, got a beautiful job, welding, and then he can teach that to his children. And that's how you do things. You got your own, education platform, right? You got your license, you can get your certificates, you can get your, whatever it is that you're looking to do. And this, usually they only take 18 months, and you can continue your education thereafter about what you learn, what your trade is. Doesn't stop there. So think about that if you get a chance to. Okay, here's another one. This is audit your energy. Identify one small habit, like mindless scrolling. We all do it. I stopped doing it. Actually, I should turn my phone off. Every chance I get to turn my phone off, I turn it off. But I don't need it for any reason. It's off. If I don't have to travel with it, I don't take it with me. Don't need to. Because then it makes you dependent. You can't live without it. It's like an appendage, right? When you have it in one hand, you're walking around, you point, you use. If you lose this thing, you're lost. If you lose this in this day and time, you're lost. In every sense. People don't know how to talk to each other anymore personally. Like when you talk to someone, they have no patience, they have no understanding. They're just all over the place. So, but they'll talk to you online, they'll text you. But people don't talk to people anymore, which is strange. It's so strange because they're saying this is social media, so you can be more social, but you're less social. Wake up, wake up. um, okay, so identify a small habit like mindless scrolling and swap it for a minute of deep breathing. Let's do that. We'll do a minute. I'm going to start at 7:13. Here we go. 3, 1. What was that? That was a half a minute. I can't do a whole minute because I got things to do. But there you go. You get it. If you get to the minute, tell me what happens. Celebrate small wins. That's very important. Transcendence is a series. Transformation is a series of victory that leads into the transcendent. Acknowledging one thing you did well before noon. So what did I do well this morning? I woke up. Listen, that's a good enough affirmation. I woke up, and then you can give Father, Mother God the day and continue on your mission. There you go. Experience. I read that one already. Here we go. Today's quote. Ready? All right. I have a couple of them. I'm going to read one from Alan Watts, one of the people that I listen to and watch, philosopher. Great, great information. Confucius says, he's amazing. So if you get a chance to watch him, Alan Watts, check him out. Well, here's a quote from him. For new beginnings, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. That's what we're talking about, Transcendent Tuesday. I was talking about swimming the other day because the firmament's still there. Hydrogen still there. So that's what you're going to go through. So when you're floating, you're not really floating. You're in water, but you don't know what this water feels like because you've never seen it because it was separated from you. So once, learn how to swim because, that's the buoyancy that you're going to be into. Like literally. Right? It's an ocean of water. But you don't know this water because when they show you this water, they show you that it's dangerous. They show you the ice cold hydrogen. If you put your hand in it, it gets cold. That is water. They sell it. Look online. They sell it. And that's where you're going to go to. The firmament thing going nowhere. Just think about when they separated the waters. Hello. Hello, sir. When they separated the water, did they take the water somewhere else? I don't think so. It's still there. Wake up, wake up. Okay, here we go. That was a good one. That was Alan Watts. Let's try this one. All right, I'll just use this one. Transformation isn't about improving yourself. It's about letting go of who you think you're supposed to be so you can finally be who you really are. Right? A lot of people have that question. Who am I? What am I doing? What am I doing? Just live your life. Forget about all the criteria and the categories. Just live. Whatever that might be, whatever you've been chosen to do, teach, sing, learn those natural abilities. That's your gift to the world. All this paper stuff, learning mathematics and all that's if it's not for you, it's not for you. You don't have to understand everything. You're not going to understand everything because everything changes. The moment you think you know the truth, guess what? It either becomes a lie or that truth needs to be investigated even more, and then you can come up with your own truth because somebody else's truth is not your truth unless they impose it upon you. Wake up, wake up. Okay. did the quote. Boom. What is this? Here's the poem. The poem is called The Midweek Metamorphosis. This is the title of the poem. So I use Gemini AI, clean it up. I have a book full of poems. So I take them, I look at them, I read them, and I put them in perspective. So I'm going to use this poem for this, or limerick, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's just words put together to make me smile. And this is one of them. And again, I use Gemini AI to help me clean up, edit, reference or quote. But most of the stuff I have written down already from years and years of writing, thoughts, journaling, stuff like that. I go back and I pick that stuff up and I write stuff down. So here it is. This is the poem for today. The week is young. The air is new. A Tuesday lens to change your view. The heavy weight of Monday's climb now softens into rhythm and rhyme. Growth is rarely a thunderous sound, but a quiet seed beneath the ground. I'm going to read that again, okay? Because I like that part. Growth is rarely a thunderous sound, but a quiet seed beneath the ground. Breaking its shell to reach the light, trusting the sun after the night. Makes sense. Don't fear the shedding of the old, the stories told or plans on hold. That was my rhyming self. So yeah, it's kind of like a limerick, I suppose. I don't know. I can't identify it. I got to look up the, different types of poems. I'm sure there's many. For every leaf that falls away makes room for what you'll bloom today. Stand in the shift, embrace the grace, run your own race at your own pace. Wake up, wake up. Transformation is a choice you make in every breath and step you take. That was my poem for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, let's get to it. Today ran pretty quick. I got a life, but I think this is important to share. If you have children, please teach them the Bible, and watch what their talents are. If you got a kid and he's a clown, he likes to clown around and he's funny, encourage that, because Eddie Murphy's parents did, and look who he turned out to be, right? Like he used to tell people what joke he used to say in his living room. So I think it was his uncle or his mom said, Eddie got a joke, Eddie got a joke. So Eddie would say his joke, right? I forgot the joke. It's in one of his stand-ups, either Ready and Willing or Delirious. One of those. Comedians are jokers of this planet, and they tell the truth jokingly. And they try to make him out to be a bad person by using the joker. But he's actually the reality of life. He always tells Batman, you need me, I need you. We can't exist without each other. Yin yang, got that gang gang. So if you've been reading with me, Samuel, if you have not, read it. If you get a chance, it's just historical. I would say read the New Testament, read the Old Testament, read the Old Testament, and read the New Testament in that order. That's just me. You do it the way you feel. Father God, Mother God, please give us the strength, the understanding, the understanding as within, so without, as above, so below, so that we may understand and have discernment, spiritual guidance while we read this book. In your name we praise. Okay, there we go. So, like I always do, day. I think this session is going to end early, which is great because, let me see how many pages we got here with this. All right, hold on. Well, we probably do chapter 5 and 6, so let's get it rocking. As usual, I use this, be blessed. So, got to be aware of words. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Promises, promises. Okay, so all these commercials are coming up now because I'm not paying for this. I don't do subscriptions, bro. That's a waste of time and money. So that's where we left off. So I'm going to press play, and he's going to read it. And as you see at the very top is the NIV version, but if you press that button, they have all kinds of religious text. So whichever one you want to read, whichever one you're interested in learning or studying, you can have this. They got the JV, JSV. Yeah, it keeps on going all the way to Y. It says Young's Literal Translation, Y'all Version Bible. Anyway, those are all the editions of the Bible that have been edited by man. Go figure. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so here we go. Just going to press play. He's going to read it. And then if I got anything to say, if you got anything to comment, please do so. Thank you.
1 Samuel chapter 5. After the Philistines had captured,
Let me know if you can hear it.
the ark of God, they took it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Then they carried the ark into Dagon's temple and set it beside Dagon. When the people of Ashdod...
Also, in the previous chapter, they killed Eli and they took the covenant. Let me see. Yeah, they took the covenant. They stole it, they killed him, and they took it. So if you read it, you'll know.
Rose early the next day. There was Dagon, fallen on his face on the ground before
Dogon. You know who those people are?
The ark. They took Dagon and put him back in his place. But the following morning when they rose, there was Dagon, fallen on his face on the ground before the ark of the Lord. His head and hands had been broken off and were lying on the threshold. Only his body remained. That is why to this day, neither the priests of Dagon nor any others who enter Dagon's temple at Ashdod step on the threshold. The Lord's hand was heavy on the people of Ashdod and its vicinity. He brought devastation on them and afflicted them with tumors. When the people of Ashdod saw what was happening, they said, "The ark of the God of Israel must not stay here with us, because his hand is heavy on us and on Dagon our God." So they called together all the rulers of the Philistines.
So then you have two gods. You have the God of Israel. He just said it. And then you have that Dagon God. Even in the Bible tells you there's more than one God, that they believed in more than one God. At this point, you have to ask yourself, what is a God? What are they looking at as being a God? A translation of universal law, natural law, into the form of a man or a depiction of a man in order to supposedly idolatrize. Is it idolatry? Something like that. Yeah. To have a man as an idol, which is what you do now, basketball players, singers, they're all the same in terms of spirituality and growth, right? They're there to manipulate you, to pull you away from yourself because they need your energy in order for them to live. Don't you need your energy to live? Use your own energy for your own life. Forget about them. Make your own music. You can do it.
And asked them, "What shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel?" They answered, "Let the ark of the God of Israel be moved to Gath." So they moved the ark of the God of Israel. But after they had moved it, the Lord's hand was against that city, throwing it into a great panic. He afflicted the people of the city, both young and old, with an outbreak of tumors. So they sent the ark.
A lot of people like to talk about, well, the God of the Old Testament was killing everybody. There it is again. just getting rid of everybody because they don't like them, they don't love them. That's what I got a problem with. Is all the destruction and murder and crazy things that's happened in the Old Testament. Like, these people are out of control. They can't even control themselves. They have to be controlled by an entity. They can't even control themselves. So Ekron is a place, because we were trying to end Ashdod, I suppose. But anyway.
God to Ekron. As the ark of God was entering Ekron, the people of Ekron cried out, "They have brought the ark of the God of Israel round to us to kill us and our people."
So these people, listen to this. Did you hear what he just said? He said, I'm going to read it again. As the ark of God, capital G, there's 3 different ways to spell this in the Bible, and probably more. There's capital G. I said it in my other videos, but check it out. As the ark of God was entering Ekron, the people of Ekron cried out, "They have brought the ark of God," lowercase. There's an example. See the difference? That means something. Just like your straw man name of Israel. The ark of God was entered. Okay. Excuse me. The God of Israel around. They have brought the ark of the God of Israel around to us to kill us and our people. So these folks knew, supposedly, because the author's unknown. Almost all of these chapters or books have unknown authors. I'm gonna do that again. I would love to have been recognized to write this stuff. I was there and I saw it. I'm putting my name on all that. Omnicosmic was here, now he's gone. He left his name to carry on. Those who knew well, those who didn't can go to hell. That's what I would do on all of my. But I guess not. So they all thought. So did all the other people around them think the same? Like all the other countries think that if they brought the Ark of the Covenant, that their God was coming to kill them? Why would they think that? But then they give you 2 sides of the same coin. The evil doer, supposedly on the Old Testament, and then you got the good doer. So one and the same. One and the same, believe me. You don't have to read the Bible. And you know one thing I found out, which didn't surprise me, is I found out about the Avenger. If you don't know who that is, look him up. Look up the Avenger in biblical terms. In don't look up the Avenger in freaking comics. That's not what we're talking about. Look it up in the Bible or any religious text that talks about religious history. Okay, so there you go. I mean, I just wanted to point that out.
So they called together all the rulers of the Philistines and said, "Send the ark of the God of Israel away. Let it go back to its own place, or it will kill us and our people." For death had filled the city with panic. God's hand was very heavy on it. Those who did not die were afflicted with tumors, and the outcry of the city went up to heaven.
Due to that passage, right, and many others just the same in this Old Testament, I was going to start reading it. Because it does something to you when you read this and you're asking for spirituality. It does something to you, right? If you don't have an open mind about this information, it will definitely indoctrinate you just by you reading it. You read that what he did, what they're doing, and then and instead of using discernment, you're a religious fanatic. Then you carry these things out of reality and say that it was God's word, that God made me do it. or I was possessed by the devil, blaming someone else instead of taking responsibility for their own actions. That's what they're doing here. That's what they've been doing. And most people now learn how to do that. So let's get into the sixth one. The sixth one is pretty short too, which is great. Got some time for that. All right, here goes chapter 6, the Ark returned to Israel. That's the title in this version of the Bible anyway. Here we go.
1 Samuel chapter 6. When the ark of the Lord had been in Philistine territory for 7 months, the Philistines called for the priests and the diviners.
7 months. There's that number 7. 7 is used in 3, but mainly 7. What's so funny, that used to be my favorite number. I don't even know why. I have no idea why. I was like, 7's my favorite number. But there it is, 7.
Said, "What shall we do with the ark of the Lord? Tell us how we should send it back to its place." They answered, "If you return the ark of the God of Israel, do not send it back to him without a gift. By all means send a guilt offering to him. Then you will be healed, and you will know why his hand has not been lifted from you." The Philistines asked, "What guilt offering should we send to him?" They replied, 5 gold tumors and 5 gold...
A guilt offering? What did I do? See? A guilt offering. Get out of here.
Rats, according to the number of the Philistine rulers, because the same plague has struck both you and your rulers. Make models of the tumors and of the rats that are destroying the country, and give glory to Israel's God. Perhaps he will lift his hand from you and your gods and your land. Why do you harden your hearts as the Egyptians and Pharaoh did? When Israel's God dealt harshly with them, did they not send the Israelites out so that they could go on their way? Now then, get a new cart ready, with 2 cows that have calved and have never been yoked. Hitch the cows to the cart, but take their calves away and pen them up. Take the ark of the Lord and put it on the cart, and in a chest beside it put the gold objects you are sending back to him as a guilt offering. Send it on its way, but keep watching it. If it goes up to its own territory, towards Beth Shemesh, then the Lord has brought this great disaster on us. But if it...
And that word itself also has 3 different types of spelling, maybe more. So here it says Lord, capital. That's intentional, because everything else is lowercase, as it should be, unless it's the first letter of the sentence or it's something meaningful. And then they spell it with a capital L and lower, and the rest of it's lower, and then they spell it all lowercase. That means something. That's not unintentional. And of course, if you look up in the Webster dictionary, or whatever dictionary you use, what's the other one? This is another one. Anyway, heritage. You know, that data's been edited, right? They're going to go, well, Lord, and this one means this. Lord, because they own the information. You're not discovering this on your own, right? You're not going out and saying, well, this means this, because you don't own the information. So they can manipulate it and say, no, change the dictionary term. They did it in the Bible. James. You ever hear about that dude? King James? Look him up. He edited the Bible. I think it was the Ethiopian, if maybe not, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it was already out and then he edited it. Look up what they know about this person, that person, King James. Just look him up real quick. Go to Wikipedia. That's edited. Everything is edited. People go, well, Wikipedia, they edit everything. It doesn't matter where you go as long as you use Father God's discernment, Mother God's discernment to understand this information. Don't stand under it. Understand it. Ask questions. Do some more research. Clarify this information that they're using to control the way you think, the way you feel, the way you look, the way you hear, the way you smell it. And it's not for you. It's for something else that you don't even know about you. You believe. Believe. magic words, put them together, look them up. You just got to do that. Remember when we were in school, we used to always look up the words, and then they showed us, the syllables broken down with the prefix, the suffix, the middle part meant. They gave us another book and said, look at this, and you can figure out what this means depending what context it's being used in, because words change meaning depending on the context it's used in, and even how it's spelled. Spell. You don't think it's real? Think again.
Does not? Then we shall know that it was not his hand that struck us, but that it happened to us by chance. So they did this. They took 2 such cows and hitched them to the cart and penned up their calves. They placed the ark of the Lord on the cart, and along with it the chest containing the gold rats and the models of the tumors. Then the cows went straight up towards Beth-shemesh, keeping on the road and lowing all the way. They did not turn to the right or to the left. The rulers of the Philistines followed them as far as the border of Beth-shemesh. Now the people of Beth-shemesh were harvesting their wheat in the valley, and when they looked up and saw the ark, they rejoiced at the sight. The ark came to the field of Joshua at Beth-shemesh, and there it stopped beside a large rock. The people chopped up the wood of the cart and sacrificed the cows as a burnt offering to the Lord. The Levites took down the ark of the Lord, together with the chest containing the gold objects, and placed them on the large rock. On that day, the people of Beth-shemesh offered burnt offerings and made sacrifices to the Lord. The 5 rulers of the Philistines saw.
These rituals were accepted. As a matter of fact, they were policy. But yet, when you hear this stuff, these practices, and if you have native people, they did the same thing. But these folks decided to call that witchcraft. These folks decided to call that what's that other word they like to use to persecute you? Heresy. That's the other word they love to use against this person, this thing that's destroying, killing everything. If you don't like me, dead. If you don't listen to what I say, dead. Come on. This is who you follow, because he's the same dude in the New Testament. Same dude. Very deceitful. Remember, it tells you in here. The devil is very deceitful. Musician, smart, beautiful, enticing, all that evil stuff that we perpetuate every day.
All this, and then returned that same day to Ekron. These are the gold tumors the Philistines sent as a guilt offering to the Lord. 1 each for Ashdod, Gaza, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. And the number of the gold rats was according to the number of Philistine towns belonging to the 5 rulers, the fortified towns with their country villages. The large rock on which the Levites set the ark of the Lord is a witness to this day in the field of Joshua of Beth-shemesh. But God struck down some of the inhabitants of Beth-shemesh, putting 70 of them to death.
More death. And there are other people saying, Satan didn't kill as many people in the Bible as God did. But if he was Satan, he would have. Right? That's what they say about him. About dude. Killing people. Just killing people everywhere. Because they don't follow him. That's the God that you want to follow. A murderous. Like, dude, you hear it. This is just one book. I've been reading the Old Testament for the last couple. I stopped reading it because this is all it talks about. And then he softens you up in the New Testament.
Because they looked into the ark of the Lord. The people mourned because of the heavy blow the Lord had dealt them. And the people of Beth Shemesh asked, "Who can stand in the presence of the Lord, this holy God? To whom will the ark go up from here?"
And there it is again. I'm going to show you again. Capital Lord. Where is it at? See it? And then just the uppercase G for God.
Then they sent messengers to the people of Kiriath Jearim, saying, "The Philistines have returned the ark of the Lord. Come down and take it up to your town."
We'll do chapter 7. Let's do chapter 7, might as well. It's not that long.
1 Samuel chapter 7. So the men of Kiriath Jearim came and took up the ark of the Lord. They brought it to Abinadab's house on the hill, and consecrated Eleazar his son to guard the ark of the Lord. The ark remained at Kiriath Jearim a long time, 20 years in all. Then all the people of Israel turned back to the Lord. So Samuel said to all the Israelites, "If you are returning to the Lord with all your hearts, then rid yourselves of the foreign gods and the Ashtoreths, and commit yourselves to the Lord and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines." So the Israelites put away their Baals and Ashtoreths and served the Lord only. Then Samuel said, "Assemble all Israel at Mizpah, and I will intercede with the Lord for you." When they had assembled at Mizpah, they drew water and poured it out before the Lord. On that day they fasted.
And if you look at it in a say, like, if you look at it as a model for society, right? What they're doing is they're saying, you have permission to do nothing unless you ask this Lord for that permission to do anything. What does that sound like to you? Sounds like a system of control, right?
And there they confessed, "We have sinned against the Lord." Now Samuel was serving as leader of Israel at Mizpah. When the Philistines heard that Israel had assembled at Mizpah, the rulers of the Philistines came up to attack them. When the Israelites heard of it, they were afraid because of the Philistines. They said to Samuel, "Do not stop crying out to the Lord our God for us, that he may rescue us from the hand of the Philistines." Then Samuel took a suckling lamb and sacrificed it as a whole burnt offering to the Lord. He cried out to the Lord on Israel's behalf, and the Lord answered him. While Samuel was sacrificing the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to engage Israel in battle. But that day the Lord thundered with loud thunder against the Philistines, and threw them into such a panic that they were routed before the Israelites. The men of Israel rushed out of Mizpah and pursued the Philistines, slaughtering them along the way to a point below Beth-kar. Then Samuel took a stone and set it up between Mizpah and Shen. He named it Ebenezer, saying, "Thus far the Lord has helped us." So the Philistines were subdued, and they stopped invading Israel's territory. Throughout Samuel's lifetime, the hand of the Lord was against the Philistines. The towns from Ekron to Gath that the Philistines had captured.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie is it called A Christmas Carol? With Ebenezer Scrooge? Then Samuel took a stone and set it up between Mizpah and Shen. He named it Ebenezer, saying, "Thus far the Lord has helped us."
From Israel were restored to Israel, and Israel delivered the neighboring territory from the hands of the Philistines, and there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. Samuel continued as Israel's leader all the days of his life. From year to year, he went on a circuit from Bethel to Gilgal to Mizpah, judging Israel in all those places. But he always went back to Ramah, where his home was, and there he also held court for Israel. And he built an altar there to the Lord.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Father, for this day. So letting us read the Bible, get some information. Maybe we can share it. Maybe we can try to learn about it. Maybe not. Have a beautiful Transcendent Tuesday. Yo lo veo mañana. Ya tú sabes. Wake up, wake up. The Cosmic, I'm out. Today is like change your thought. If you find something that you have to do, challenge yourself and change that phrase into something like, wow, this is challenging. Let me see how I do. Let me see what I learn. Or who I can meet to help me solve the situation if possible. Maybe just meet myself. I can resolve it. Ya tú sabes, I love you so natural. Wake up, wake up. Nos vemos la próxima. Dios me lo bendiga. Dios me lo bendiga. I'm just saying that so, religious folks can get it. Ok, nos vemos.